And what's a sword doing here? Too bright! What's with this light? Ah! Ghost!
Hey guys, so recently I had the chance to play the remake of Secret of Mana, and I got a little info sheet when I got to go in and play this latest build at the Bandai Namco office in Australia, who also distribute for Square Enix, and I thought I would just read through a couple of the things on the info sheet and then comment on those points, because it's actually set out quite nice, and I think it would be a good structure to let you guys know my thoughts on what I thought about Secret of Mana, this remake. So straight up here it says key features, audio updates, including a newly arranged musical score and voiced characters. The audio was really good. The actual soundtrack was really nice. I enjoyed the tracks all the way through while playing, and the voice acting was also pretty good. There was nothing to complain about. It didn't sound super robotic. It wasn't Bait and Katos or anything like that. So the sound stuff, really good. And yes, the new arranged music sounds really good. It's definitely more modern than it is retro, and obviously that's what you want in a good remake. Next up, it says 3D graphics, revamped visuals for the entire game, a vivid, mana-filled world rebuilt in 3D for the first time. This is probably going to divide a lot of people, because when companies, especially Square Enix, seem to revamp graphics, it's a hit and miss affair. When I think about that, I think of the earlier Final Fantasy remakes when they put them onto mobile platforms. And what I can say straight away is that it is much more of a Final Fantasy 3 to mobile remake than it is a Final Fantasy 6 to mobile remake, which the Final Fantasy 6 remake is probably universally bad. I think most people would say that it is a bad graphical remake. But the Final Fantasy 3 remake, when they did put it into 3D graphics and a 3D world, it grew on me, and I think it grew on a lot of people. It has its own charm, and that's what I can say Secret of Mana has. It has its own charm. I actually thought it was quite beautiful for a remake of a very, very retro game. It won't please everybody because a lot of people prefer the old retro style when you're going to play a game like this, but I think that the 3D remake looks really good. I was quite pleased with it. I thought it was quite beautiful, in fact. Then we have upgraded gameplay. The original system has been reworked in an effort to realize a modern action RPG with improved gameplay. Well, I'm not really sure how much they improved gameplay. I will be honest, I don't remember really anything of the original. I played Secret of Mana when I was very, very young, and I haven't gone back and played it since, and even though I have a SNES Classic and I could go and play it right now, I figure that I'm actually going to want to play this game as the remake when it comes out, so I don't want to ruin myself for it, if that makes sense. However, I'm not sure if this is just a point of old gameplay from 1993 that has not translated well or has not aged well, or if their upgrades have actually made it worse. Because what I can say is the combat feels really not that great. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's bad, but it's quite boring and it just does not feel right. It sort of works on... It's sort of like the old school Zelda games where you are just out in the field and you can slash your weapon and hit things out in the world. And as far as I can tell, or while I was playing, which was the opening hour-ish of the game, so it's very early on, but I only had one attack as far as I could tell, and it was just to slash my sword, and it had some sort of variation, like occasionally he would jump or, dash forward with the sword. But as soon as you slice with your sword at once, then a meter down the bottom that says 100% actually drops to 0%. And if you slash again straight away, your next hit is much weaker. So if your first hit does 20 damage at the 100%, then if you start just spamming the button, the actual next attacks might only do 1 damage or 2 damage maximum. So you have to actually wait for that bar to refill. And what I found myself doing was basically walking up to something, hitting it once, and then standing around for 2 seconds waiting for the bar to come back full. And every time you do hit an enemy, they sort of get pushed back and stunned. So it allows you to do that. It allows you to wait. But it just felt really boring and really bad walking up to something and going, cha! 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 And sometimes these things would take 10 or 15 hits. I found myself on some of these enemies, the non-boss enemies. So, I don't know. I'm mixed about that. I hope there are further optimization. I hope there are further changes. Because everything else felt well, like your movement felt really well in the 3D world. I could tell they have improved the inventory systems and the equip systems and that sort of thing, because that's something I do actually remember as being quite tedious in the original game. But it doesn't seem as if combat has been improved at all, or if it has been upgraded, it's been for the worse. And I will also emphasize that one of the boss battles that I did was incredibly frustrating. It was against a big mantis type monster, and I was, doing as best as you can. You walk up, you slash it, you wait a second, and you sort of get the hang of its rhythm and its patterns. So it will do a couple of like slashy things in front of it, so you have to sort of move around and get out of the way. So you may only have a chance to hit it twice, and then you have to move. And that helps with your recharge and everything like that. But then every now and then it would also do sort of a poison attack. And I assumed at the start, when I first got hit by it, that it was in a cone in front. So when he went to do that again, I sort of went to go behind him, but I still got hit. And so I thought maybe it was a range thing. So when he went to do it again, I went like all the way to the other side of the room, and I still got hit. So it seemed like it was an entire room-wide ability, and there was no way to avoid it. At least there was no way to avoid it that I could see, and it killed me twice. Now, I'm not sure if this was intended, but another NPC healed me to full every time I died, because it only took 3 of those poison attacks to kill me, because it did 20 damage each time, and I had less than 60 HP. So I was really confused by that, and it really frustrated me, in fact. And I'm still not 100% sure whether it was intended or not. But as far as that goes, the combat isn't so great, but everything else, gameplay-wise, appears to be good, improved. It appears to be fine. Dialogue scenes added. Several core scenes from the original story now feature newly visualized cutscenes and things in game. The few cutscenes that I did see looked really good. I appreciate everything that was going for, and I appreciate the story that it was trying to tell. That's one thing I do want to emphasize. There is a final thing, interlude episodes, brand new conversations showing the amusing interactions between Randy and his comrades as they travel between adventures. I'm not 100% sure if I experienced any of those. It sounds something like the skit system in Tales, but I can't remember experiencing anything specific there. But one thing I do want to emphasize is the story and its storytelling and the way it was going through. As I told you, the combat was frustrating to me and I didn't really like it, but it didn't stop me from playing. I actually played until the game crashed. Until the demo build crashed, and it didn't stop me from playing. So that's one thing I want to emphasize, is this game kept me hooked regardless of its bad combat. And there is always the chance that that will change before release, and God, I hope so. Alright guys, that's all from me for now. Check out the links in the description, and thanks for watching.